Hi, my name is Nicole, licensed clinician, and I'm here talking about everyday things that impact our mental health and fitness. Right now, we are talking about nutrition. So I will preface this by saying please speak with your doctor and or a nutritionist about what your individual needs are for your whatever pre-existing conditions you may have or whatever you're trying to prevent from happening, whatever. However, we do know certain things do certain things in our bodies. If you go to health.harvard.edu, they have a Harvard Health blog called Nutritional Psychiatry, Your Brain on Food, written September 18th, 2022 by Elva Selhub, MD. It's a very short article, but I think it's pretty informative. I'll give you some highlights here. So first, we talk about our brains as needing fuel, right? Food is fuel for our brains. Our brains are never off. Even when we sleep, our brains are still working. They're just working in a different way on some different things. So there's no powering down that computer like all the way. And we need to make sure that it has what it needs. So you wouldn't put water and dirt in the gas tank of your car. And so as such, we also should not put water and dirt in the gas tank of our brains. So there are some things that, like I said, we know for sure. There are certain neurotransmitters that are predominantly produced in our gastrointestinal system. So serotonin, for example, is one that is 95% made in our gastrointestinal system, and it has a lot to do with mood regulation. So we talked about drinking more water so that our brain performs better and so that, our brains can create more serotonin, but also our gastrointestinal system needs to create that serotonin. And we need to help feed what needs to make the serotonin. I don't know if that sentence made any sense, but essentially we need to make sure that we are giving our gut what it needs in order to efficiently make the serotonin. Let's put it that way. So they talk in this article about studies that have compared the Mediterranean diet and like a traditional Japanese diet with what we kind of normally see in Western culture, which is a little bit more of convenience foods, a little bit more of like less expensive foods, generally lower quality foods, things along those lines. So what we know is that people who eat a more traditional like Mediterranean or Japanese type of diet have a reduced risk of depression by like 25 to 35%. So that's a pretty significant reduced risk of depression. And they attribute that to the higher vegetables and fruits, unprocessed grains, fish, seafood in those Mediterranean Japanese type of diets. And also the fermented foods that tend to be featured a little bit more in some more traditional cultural foods, like kimchi or sauerkraut, things along those lines. And so they are natural probiotics. Probiotics are really important for gut health and function. So, looking at it a little bit further, at the end of the article, they talk about like eating clean for 2 or 3 weeks and like seeing how you feel. Like yes and no, like I agree with that, but then also that's not always the most feasible or cost effective thing, right? So ultimately, if you take nothing else away from this, I want you to think about just adding in more opportunities for more nutrient dense foods. So if you don't eat a whole lot of vegetables, maybe adding in some vegetables to start with like one meal a day. You don't have to replace a whole meal with a salad or anything like that. But like, let's say you're like a meat and potatoes type of person or a meat and potatoes type of family. Add in some frozen broccoli, like steam it. You can get a bag of frozen broccoli at Aldi for like less than $1 these days. I still, that's a really great place to start If you don't like the taste of vegetables, man, like there are like a bajillion different recipes. Steam them, bake them, stir fry them, whatever. There's like a bunch of different spices and whatnot that you can add to make them, give them a little more pizzazz. The great thing about vegetables is that they're generally pretty like bland. They don't always have their own flavor. And so you can just dump whatever seasoning on it that you want. So all that to say, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of get creative and get around it. You don't have to eliminate all processed foods and all sugars and all of this and, you know, overthink everything too much. Just start by adding in some options that our bodies can more efficiently utilize for things like serotonin production and better gut health, and then kind of see how you feel from there, right? So we're not demonizing any particular food. If you can't afford to go like, everybody's like, oh, like organic, whole foods, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. That's really cost prohibitive for a lot of people. And if you can't do that, you can't do that. Like, that's fine. Just make the best decisions that you can for yourself, right? If you have to get like canned food, that's fine. There's canned vegetables that you can have. No big deal. So I just really highly encourage you for that buy-in. I know a lot of people, the year turns, our New Year's resolutions are like, I'm going to eat better, right? And then we just kind of stand there like looking around like, okay, like what do I do? This is a great first step, and it can have this rippling effect of being positive on your mental health also. So don't forget to drink your water. Don't forget to get good sleep. Don't forget to eat your vegetables.